Yo, what's up? This is Shadow Rockin' Profowon.
And aloha kako, this is JASOUL from BTR BREAKIN.
And what's up, Gearheads? You're watching the Gearheads podcast. And before we get started with the subject, how you been, Jay? It's been a week since the session show.
Oh man, I just got off the phone with you yesterday about this. You already know what I've been dealing with, man.
Yeah, let us know. Let the Gearheads know what's up.
I got, man. They got me, bro. They got
You got
me.
hacked, boy.
I got.
You got war games.
Another statistic, man. And I seen this happen to other people, and I could spot it from the outsiders. Like, oh, that guy got hacked. That guy got hacked. And yeah, man, the weakness of my heart that penetrated my my logic. One of my students obviously had a hacked account, and they hit me up like, "Hey, I'm trying to be an ambassador on Instagram. Please vote for me." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Oh, hey, is there any other way to do it?" I was trying to qualify them to see because it was kind of fishy, but it's like, "Oh no, just please when you can, please hurry." And I tried to even video call them just to see like, hey, I want to make sure it's you. And then it didn't go. And I was busy. It's like, oh, if I don't do it now, I'm probably going to forget. So I just did it, man. They made me log in. I followed the link and I put in my first, that was the second red flag is them making me log in and putting in my passcode.
Right.
Did that. And then boom. Yeah, the next day I got hit up from a couple of good friends. And then all throughout the day, everyone's hitting me up. Hey, you got hacked. I'm like, I sure did, man. I sure did.
Yeah.
And the blessing in that was, man, I got hit up by a good amount of people. I didn't get that much action in a minute. It's good to know that I'm still in people's minds and people still love me.
Yeah, that was the thing is for me, it was crazy because I was like, hey, you're hacked. And the guy who answers like, no, I just did my investing on Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, really?
I know.
I was like, oh, really? That's nice. And then I was like, okay. And then I was like, what about Mike Dillard? He's like, yeah, he did it too. And I was like, there is no Mike Dillard.
That was a good one. That was a good one, man.
And then I was like, trick you. And then he was like, trick you too. I was like, oh, okay. Then he blocked me.
That's how you know it's a human. That's kind of the other mysterious.
Yeah, it wasn't a bot.
The soul would do this to somebody. My goodness, man. But yeah, what we can learn from that. And I did a post on my High State Rocker. Put the link right there, would you?
Yeah, boom.
Thank you, my man.
Yes, sir.
On my High State Rocker account, I did a little video. I got hit up from shout outs to Flashback from Incredible Breakers out of New York, now lives in Florida. One of my good buddies. He hit me up. He's like, hey, you need to have everybody report it. So I did put a video on how to do that. Yeah. Anybody listening, please follow the prompts on how to report that. That'll help me recover my account faster. I'm crossing my fingers right now for that. And last thing on this is everybody, ask a qualifying question. If somebody's asking you for something, especially like a vote that's going to link you out of that. And right away, everybody do this right now. Set up your 2 authentication security. It's under settings in your Instagram on your app. Under settings, you go to security. It says two-factor authentication. Set that up. I wish I did, man. It's so simple, and people have been telling me to do it for a long time. I just got caught slipping, bro. Anyway,
or you could be like me, who I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nobody. I'm not gonna say anything to nobody. I'm gonna be like, who is this? Oh yeah, you knew me from grade 3. Cool. Remember Mr. Smith? They're like, of course. Like there was no Mr. Smith. I just do that. There is no Mr. Smith.
Man.
I just mess with them. You know what I mean? I mess with them because it's like a friend doesn't usually do certain things, but whatever, lessons learned, right? Like that's the whole thing, right? Like just you have to pay attention and just be wary because of online, right? So before we get started with our subject, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Zen World at zenworld.com out there in Las Vegas, CBD. Jay, tell them what you got, your information about the Zen World CBD.
World, Zen World. Read it right here, guys. Nano drops, citrus. They got flavored nano drops. They got stuff for the outside of your body to make your brain thinks it's healing and make it feel good and gets your brain and body working together. And you got the stuff that comes in on the inside right here. Flavorful. You put it in with your coffee, your smoothie, your tea. Boom. They got everything for you guys. It pulls inflammation out of your body. That's the number one thing that we're fighting when we're training and we're trying to be the best at what we do. And it's really been helping me out. Very grateful for Zen World. I love this stuff, man. But yeah.
Yeah, you could get the 15% off using the GEARHEADZ promo code. And yeah, again, the nano, the roll-on, different types of drops, you know, and basically it won't get you high or have hallucinogen side effects. It's just for information.
Yeah, non-psychoactive, which is what I like about it. But bro, anyway, bro, not so fast. What's up with your week, man? What's been going on?
What's been going on? I've been basically training, same old. Just I did an episode of the trades. I haven't done the trades, which is basically, you know, my own podcast that I've been doing for like 6 years. And I basically did one on the history of the Bay Area, history of breaking from the 90s to now. It was more of the 90s. And I just described how we kind of had influence around the world. You know, even Florock was talking about that. He watched tapes from the Bay. And as I travel around the world, I hear the same things. I hear, we watch tapes from the Bay. When I went to Florida, we watched tapes from the Bay. When I go to LA, we watch tapes from the Bay. So I wanted to put together a curate a show where I had the receipts, where I gave a timeline to, from my perspective anyway, and even who influenced who from the 90s and then how they pulled from the 80s and then continue to kind of influence till now, right? Like guys like Jazzy J and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'll be showing a clip later on as we get to the topic, but it was pretty cool because I had a lot of old school guys kind of hit me up and said, yo, thanks for doing this. You know, like, you know, because, you know, there's a vast amount of information out there on YouTube, but then like, you know, or you could watch Korean Rock, and shout out to Korean Rock. You can watch his IG and, you know, he puts a lot of dope clips, but they're out of context. I want to give something with context. You know what I mean? I want to give like kind of a lesson, right? Like, you know, so it was kind of cool to kind of do that. I'm getting a really good response to it, and I'll be doing more of those. You know what I mean?
I seen Breakbeat Lou commented on it, huh?
Yeah, well, I tagged him on it, and he was just like, yeah, you talked about this, and you know, it was kind of cool to kind of like pull heads from the scene and go, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Because, you know, it's like when you're like meeting up with people individually, you're telling the story. Like you can only like pull out your phone and then they remember it. But now I have something I could actually refer to. Like just watch this whole video. You know what I mean? Just watch the video and it'll explain a lot. So
talking of or speaking of two-factor authentication, when you're adding receipts to it and talking about it, boom. I mean, you're double fortifying what you're saying and you're backing it instantaneously. I think it's brilliant, man, and valuable and entertaining at that. It took me a little bit to get to the video. It took me like a day or a day and a half or so to get to it. But yeah, man, everything about it was dope, dude. And I talk to you all the time and you tell me this all the time. But when you added the video to it, yeah, just give it a deeper level.
Yeah, and I could go deep. That's the thing. I could go deeper. I think maybe what we could do as a future episode is we could do an episode where we talk about one tape and get Poe One on it. And he could talk about that one thing in the 80s and break down everything, who's who. And, you know, that way we have, you know, like I said, a lot of this, you know, the Gearhead show or when I do the trades, it's about providing like a curation. Because that's the thing with a lot of kids that are watching breaking, they're just watching the winning, you know, the champions, this and that. But no one still knows the how. How did we get here? And, you know, me, I'm like, you know, big about breaking everything down to get to how we got here. Because, you know, like what they say, you only know where you're going when you look back at where you've been. So, like, that's the whole point. You know what I'm saying?
That would be a dope name for a segment on this, or even just like a subsection within our YouTube is the receipts. I like that, man.
Word.
It's kind of like what Korean Rock does and all them, but without
Yeah, the commentary and the context, right? The context, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Now there's a story, like I said, when you watch Korean rock, it's kind of like, all right, it's dope footage. You know, it's older because of the static lines or whatever, but there's no context. It's just, okay, it's random. But when you tell the story of how they got there, that's like what makes it interesting. You know what I'm saying?
You know Korean rock or what?
Yeah, I know Junk. Yeah, I know Junk.
Get him on. Does he speak English or no?
No. But he loves breaking, man. You could tell. He loves breaking. He loves it. He loves every aspect of it.
Seems like a historian, man. He knows.
Oh yeah, for sure. He loves it. Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He knows more about breaking than most average b-boys. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's important. So let's get to our subject today. Boom. The true ROI of breaking. Now, if you don't know what ROI is return on investment. And this is a very big subject that, you know, we came up with Roman and stuff. And I thought it was a good idea because no one talks about the, here in Gearheads, for your Gearheads out there, it's like, we're going to talk about stuff that not a lot of B-boys or B-girls talk about. You know, they just talk about who's winning and who's killing it, but they're not talking about, like, you know, why you do it. Like, you know what I mean? Why? Yeah. What's your why? You know what I'm saying? So before we get started about, like, you know, because like that's a pretty broad thing, right? ROI is pretty broad, return on investment. So we're gonna basically break down what we think of it, and then we're gonna go for the show and like break down different aspects of it. So for you, Jay, when you hear that ROI, what are you thinking?
Yeah, return of investment. Yeah, man, like we're human beings. What that means to me, and you know, with my personal experiences, we do things for incentive, and whether it's reciprocity in relationships that we seek out, and you know, a lot of it is based on survival, right? Like what can I do to make sure I survive? That is building relationships. That is, you know, trying to get resources ultimately, right? And the ultimate resource in this day and age and in this capitalist society is money, right? So, you know, leading up to that, you know, in the era that I started in the 90s, it was more similar to the earlier stages. And after I talk about this, I would love for you to bring us back to the Charlie Rock one, and, you know, the starts of it. But yeah, I mean, just escaping. You know, I came up in the dirt roads and bushes of Big Island, in the countryside of Big Island. We had lava tubes, dirt roads, and bushes. Pretty far from the beach, we didn't have much, man. And to kind of escape that and to have something fun to do, the adventure of it, being able to battle, and after a year of that, like testing my body's limits. The girls came into it. I naturally, I didn't do it for that. And then I started to notice, wow, like I'm getting attention. And when the girls started liking me, then I was making a lot of friends because the guys wanted to dress like me. They wanted to, you know, like see what was good. And you know all about dancing, man. After you do it, yeah, there's a lot of ego. There's a lot of negative energy to it for the most part. But after you do it, after you battle, you're happier, you're more relaxed. You know what I mean? Right. So not only the physical and the emotional benefits that we get from it. Yeah, I mean, it makes us a better person. So there's that side of it. I started in the non-monetary side of it. And then from there, you know, as I evolved in my journey as a practitioner, being able to travel, that was opening up resources to me and expanding, like expanding my network, and
right.
Which eventually made it across the world. And I have a worldwide network where I'm sure, I mean, you got the network, man. Like we can
talk about that
in any country at this point. So talk about survival and expanding our resources in any country we could stay in comfortably and be taken around and put on, you know?
Yep.
So
100.
I mean,
100. You know, when it comes to return on investment for me, it's just like I didn't know what that meant at first. To be honest, the first time I heard it was Gary Vee. he would talk about ROI, and I had to actually look it up in Google, and was like, what's ROI? It's like, oh, return of investment. Okay, I get it now. So basically, whatever output I'm doing, you know, that it be practicing, that it be spending time in it, then there's going to be a return of something. It might be of attention. It might be of skill set. It might be monetary, right? Usually in business, they're referring ROI as business, like it's monetary, you know, monetary return. But, you know, just like, you know, like what everyone talks about is the spiritual aspect of, well, we're getting this, you know, we're getting this reward system of validation when we go kill it from all the practice in the garage or training spot, from all the battles, from all the like blood, sweat, and tears. The return of investment is basically this validation, right? And not just, you know, outside, but there's like internal validation, like, wow, I actually did it. You know, like you invest a week into getting a windmill, you never did a windmill, then you finally get one or two, boom, you know, you feel accomplished, endorphins, you know, serotonin, you know, all these things, you know, dopamine hits you and you feel this accomplishment. So there's that. I think anyone that's in any craft that, you know, that's physical or even mental, because people get this in video games, right? You play Call of Duty and you kill everyone, or you play Apex and you kill everyone and you got the best score, you get a dopamine hit. Yeah, you got a dopamine hit. Like, yeah, I did it. You know what I'm saying? But this time the difference is it's not, that's all theoretical in a way, because it's still, you're watching a screen, you're watching and your mind's doing this, but you're not physically doing it. While the benefits of breaking, you're physically doing it. Mm-hmm. So it's not just your mind getting a dopamine hit, but your whole body's getting like these advantages, right? From working out, from actually doing something physical. So I think those are like the spiritual aspects, that the niceties that everyone talks about, right? When they talk about breaking, like, oh, it gives me this sting of accomplishment, and, you know, like, who cares about the money? Yeah, right. But, you know, like, who cares about the money? It's the culture and blah, 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 blah. And there is truth to it. I just don't know. I have my own opinion about it, and we'll get into it later. But for the very bare basics of the spiritual aspect and the physical aspect, there is this reward system that happens. That's the immediate return of investment, right? Is that, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, Pro, so what was like one of your personal experiences with dance, whether it was at practice, whether it was winning a jam, that you got the most intense like rush or chemical kind of, you know, endorphin rush?
The first time, well, so it's like I said, I'm a little opposite, right? Like, when I first started dancing, it was actually very funny. I was just a goofy kid that didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't care, you know, like, I was just like, I don't care. Like, I just liked the attention. So it didn't matter if I was good or not, because I was getting kind of that validation anyway. And a lot of us were like that back in the day, because we didn't know what we were doing. There was like, the dance wasn't as codified as it is now, right? Like, you know, just for example, like in Hawaii, you guys called windmills egg rolls or shoulder rolls. Then yeah, shoulder rolls, or like we used to call windmills in Alameda, they called windmills gyros. And then in San Francisco, they called windmills flares. So there was no distinct codification. The only thing that was like pretty universal was a head spin. Why? Because you spun on your head, right?
Yeah.
Like that. So I didn't get that dopamine hit or that accomplishment from doing moves. I got more of the external validation from just being brave enough, you know, as Zeshan, you know, referred to in our last episode, of just doing it, just actually jumping in, because there was no one good yet, not like that. You know what I mean? We were still trying to figure it out. And just like in the Bay Area video I just came out with, it's when Lil Caesar and Crazy Legs started coming to the Bay. We were like, oh, that's what good looks like. When we saw Sean Ortiz, we were like, oh, we actually suck, but that's the goal now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the goal. And then became a little bit more codified. And then, you know, then there was like the move to do back then was Flare 90. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was like the move. So for me personally, I did a long stroke of what I did. It was just more external validation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very cool, man.
Yeah. So I mean, actually, let me pull up. Yeah, as we talk about that, let me pull up a clip from the what you call it. Let me pull up a clip from my past work, and you could see what it looked like back then. You know what I mean? What did it look like? And it
You know,
looked like
we got to get
this.
Zeshin back, by the way. If anybody hasn't seen the episode, go back and check that out. But
yeah. So here's like a little clip from there. This was a cipher. Ciphers at an event called DJ Extravaganza. And yeah, it was like this. It was like no one was really good just yet. It was just kind of like this was 2,000 people. There's barely 2,000 people at a breaking event nowadays, but this is like, just to be very frank, half of these are women or girls that were kind of like fans of the dancers. So it's very even as far as attendance. You know what I'm saying?
I think one of the big things in this, why the attendance was crazy and there was no competition, there was no prize money, is they had dopamine built up from trying to go and find the gems, or AKA the unexpected, because that's what this era was about. From what I know, you'd see a b-boy you never seen before, you'd see, and they'd be doing moves you've never seen before.
Yeah,
something psychologically when you see the unexpected, which is a lost thing in this day and age, as we're live streaming everything and everyone's recording their new moves on Instagram and posting every day about it. The unexpected, there's a dopamine tied to that makes us addicted to it. And you know, it's kind of interesting. I'd like to get your thoughts on that, like how, where it is in this day and age, we don't have that anymore. Nobody's they're not incentivized to go to a jam, really.
No. It's a different, and that's what I'm saying. Like when I was talking to when we were talking to Zeshin last episode, you could check that on his channel. You know, I come from an era before VHS, so like that was a whole camera setup. You know what I'm saying? To like
the big
for that event, yeah, you needed like a tripod, and you know, like you had to hook up your VCR to a camera if it didn't have a you know, built-in tape to record it on. So that was a whole production. So tapes were rare. So those things got passed, and that was the only way you had information, and we had limited information. So back then it was just really the experience. It was the experience of going to an event. You know what I mean? Like that was the whole thing. It was the experience of going to an event and seeing what was going to happen, seeing if you were going to get into a battle, seeing if you were going to get props, seeing, and like that was in Alameda, or no, that was in Santa Clara. So that was like, you know, 30 miles south of where I used to live. So that's coming into enemy territory, right? It's like you're going to war. You don't know what's going to happen.
The unexpected.
So, yeah. So like
there's an addictive trait tied to seeking the unexpected, and that's what.
And here's the other thing too, is that since there was no tapes, everything was word of mouth. You heard of this guy, and hopefully you'll see him there.
Yeah,
because you heard about him, and then you finally see that person's like, oh shit. Then you know, because you have your imagination, you know, creating the story in your head of like, I've never seen Gideon before. Who's Gideon? He's this guy. He's killing it. And then you finally see him, and then you're like, it's either like, is everything you expected and more, or it's like, it's not that great. You know, but it's just like, but that's how you got your name out there. It was word of mouth. It was like people talking to you on the telephone. Like, I went to this jam and I heard about this guy, and then he killed it. You know, it was like that. It was a lot like that. So it was just you had to experience it, right? Because you had to get out of the house.
Yeah, it was the music too, right? It was the music.
Yeah, like, 100 at that time.
SoundCloud, you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have like,
no,
people were digging a lot more. They had to get it the hard way, and you know, that
you were more connected to the other elements too. Like for instance, at that event, we were invited by a DJ group called Lot of Sounds out of Alameda because they saw us dance. So we were dancing for them in there, because the whole thing of that event, which was crazy, is that there was 5 DJ setups, and then they would each get a turn in a certain part of the night, like maybe a 30-minute slot, and then they would have, maybe this had the best lighting. I think Second to None from South San Francisco, they had hydraulic press, so they had like the turntables go all the way up to the roof while they're mixing. in there, and that's our whole presentation.
So
so it was just like that. It was like we were more related and together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And that made the community bigger, right? The social validation stronger.
Yeah,
right? So in this era right here, what age would you say you were and the general crowd was? Was it?
I was 16. I was 16 at the time. So everyone was about 16, 17. You know, obviously some of the people that were throwing together were like maybe 20. So the whole thing is this is pre-club era for us. Yeah. When you're old enough to go into a club. This is the closest thing we could go to a club, but this was actually got bigger. And I saw someone comment too, like about like we had raves. Like this is like raves were going on at the same time we did that, but this was more hip hop community. Yeah. Raves at the time was just white people. At the time, it was just white kids. For us, this was the scene. You know what I mean? It wasn't, you know, that's why it's like reminding them, and Ivan and them, they come from the rave scene. Circle of Fire comes from the rave scene, but they weren't old enough yet to go to this. They were 13 when this was going on. I was 16.
I was surprised to hear that Floor Rock came from the rave scene too. I was like, oh,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. A lot of B-boys came from the rave scene. And, you know, I hit it up one time and I was like, this is kind of cool, but everyone's high. So I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, that's what was my opinion. This is not hip hop. Everything's listening to drum and bass or techno and I wasn't into that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but yeah. So that was like the experiential part. And this is close to like, honestly, when I showed this clip, you know, when I talked to Breakbeat Lou, they were talking the first Hevalo and the Herc stuff was like this. It was like a mirror to this. This was just 20 years later, but it was like a mirror, or 15 years later, but it was a mirror. You know what I'm saying? It was maybe not the same music, but the vibe was the same. You know what I mean? The vibe was the same. It was about the DJ, and then you go to the DJs, and that's where everyone was at. You know what I'm saying?
So you felt like you connected to this, you're connecting to a culture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The social element of it.
Yep.
You know, the expressive element of it as well. Everyone was kind of younger, and you know, I can parallel to that as well. But when we get into high school or towards the end of high school, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. There's this thing called bills, and we actually need money to survive. I continued breaking. I got a job, you know, right out of high school. During high school, I got a job that made me slow down from breaking a little bit. Tried college for a little bit. That didn't work out. Financial aid fell through. And I got back in, right when that didn't happen, I got back into breaking. It's like, what do I know, man? You know, I tried the college route. I tried to be honest and do what my mom wants me to do. But
right.
I did my best.
And that's the thing, man. That's the thing. The retirement age of a B-boy back then was 18.
Yeah.
Straight up. It was 18. You, like, when I started officially breaking at 22. And they were like, why? You know, at the time, why? Like, you're old. Like, you start at 13 and you max out at 18. That's 5 years of career. You know what I mean? And I just loved it. I just loved the culture. I loved the challenge. You know what I mean? Because for me, it wasn't, I could drum up attention. That's just my personality. I could just drum up attention. But I want to be validated for the skills instead of just not giving a fuck. Because that was my thing. I just did. If I show some clips of like my first competition, I was bullshitting. Why? I didn't know what I was doing. Huh?
Why did you want to be known for your skills?
Because back then, like I said, because I know how to drum up attention by myself. You know what I'm saying? So that was the easy part. Now it's like, okay, but I need a skill set. That's why I fell in love with it. I love the codification of it. I love the challenge of, because, okay, here's the thing in my background too. It's like, so in hip hop, I did every element. I rapped, I DJ'd, I graffitied, and I braked.
You didn't rap, bro.
Yes, I did. I actually did rap.
Kick a flow right now, dude. Let's go.
No, I couldn't. Hell no, I was a written guy. I didn't freestyle. No. Well, anyway, so the thing is, if I can find a tape, then that's the closest thing I'll do. So, but the thing is that the hardest thing for me, honestly, was breaking. Like when I did graffiti, me and my boy, we climbed walls. We were fucking high and all over the place for just first 6 months of graffiti. We didn't give a fuck, right? And then with DJing, like I played drums before, so it was easy for me to scratch. the hard thing was for me to do was breaking. I couldn't do a handstand. I couldn't do a head, I couldn't do these things. It was chance, right? So after I did capoeira and I worked out and I learned how to do a handstand, then I started, because I was a freestyle dancer. Like I just freestyle. It was just more hip hop oriented. And then the challenge was, how do I get strong? How do I get this balance? How do I get a handstand? How do I do a backflip? And once I started learning that, that's when I got into breaking. You know what I mean? Then I saw Flow Master and Ken Swift and said, oh, that looks like dancing. It doesn't look like what these kids are doing, Flare 90, generic shit. These guys are actually dancing and they have a personality. I like that. Fast forward 30 years later, I'm trying to get Flare 90, which is freaking funny. Like I hated on the power move guys. Now I'm trying to get power moves, man. So it's funny.
I think you're highly intelligent, man, for getting into it at that age and not letting, the norm. And you had good insight and foresight and you always have, with everything that we always talk about. But what it sounds like what you did in the journey you're going through and went through and why you're still doing it is you were able to adapt your body. And it's powerful stuff, man. Not being able to handstand and try a move that you've seen for the first time and stick with it and still be doing it at your age, man. I think that's
a different story.
Stinger right there. That's the investment. If you can learn to enjoy movement and be creative and free within it, which is what you're learning, right? You said you're a freestyle dancer, which is mainly upright.
Yep.
That's a natural locomotion of all human beings, right? We've evolved to stand upright, bipedal walk on 2 feet. So it's definitely it's not the easiest, but it is easier than when we're going on our hands. So to be able to transition into that and continue, and you're pushing the hardest moves right now, man. To me, that's where I want to be. I think that's a true return right there.
It's difficult, man, because like even today I was trying to do like Valdez's like flares and Valdez's and my shoulders hurt and this and that hurts and blah 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 blah. But I still do it. I just for me it's not competition. You know what I mean? It's not competition. It's my time. It's my sacred space where I get to meditate on my own and do the movement. And that's what I love.
That's what I
love.
That's what I love. Yeah.
It's not what we're about to talk about, the different ROI we're talking about, more of the business aspect of ROI. But as far as breaking like the ROI and that's like spiritually fulfilled, yeah, I'm fulfilled. Even Roman asked me, he's like, if you had $1 million, what would you do? I was like, nothing. I'd do the same exact thing I'm doing now. Except my bills will be paid. I would do the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, because I don't need anything else. If I could get just, the bills paid and get a house, like I'll be doing the exact same thing. I'll be posting every day, practicing every day.
Real quick in the chat for everyone watching and listening right now, how many of you think Profo's BSing on this? Would he still be doing the same thing? And then follow up comment, what would you do with $1 million?
There you go.
I'm thinking like, man.
If I had $1 million, I'd just buy a house and a car and then hopefully all my bills paid. That's it. Boom, and then still try to push the breaking movement, because obviously I feel like there's like a lot of benefit in it. There's like, there's the positives and negatives and everything, but I feel like there's a big benefit to it if you can tap into those things, into your why. Then
So those are the basic needs that we have as adults, right? We want a house, we want shelter, we want transportation, and we want freedom. And that looks different for different people, but generally we can say we want freedom to consume, to buy things that we want to buy, when we want to buy, who we want to buy for. Most of us want to support our friends and take care of our family and our elders and travel. I mean, there's probably more you could add to the list, but when you're 16, you're doing it for the love, you're doing it for the self-awareness, self-discovery. Your fitness is on point, but hey, bills need to be paid, man. Why? Yeah. The biggest thing right now is we have different mindsets as breaking is becoming a professional sport.
Yeah.
Do we sell out to like the corporate people, the few that are doing it, or do we stay real?
So yeah, now we're talking about what we got to talk about. Yeah, now we're talking about the financial, the monetary ROI, right? So here's the thing, you know, I want to address a few things just because, like, you know, a lot of people are like, we don't get paid enough to do this, and I agree. I agree. We don't get paid enough to do breaking. I feel like breaking is the hardest art next to boxing and MMA. I think it comes the closest, in my opinion. The difference between boxing and MMA is you're getting punched in the face. But as far as training, I think is as hard, besides the physical contact and the risk of getting knocked out and, you know, suffering CTE. I think we're the closest as far as training. If you really want to be good, in my opinion, if you really want to be good. So if we train this hard, why don't we get, you know, the same payment? And it comes down to, well, how many people are watching us? And now we're talking about corporation. I'm gonna pull up the first Red Bull real quick as we talk. I'll put it in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll put the volume down.
So real quick, I mean, what you're talking about is we're basically grinding our gears. We're training. We're putting our blood, our ligaments, our cartilage, our muscles through the ringer until we find out how to move good. When doing so, you know, there's things that we can do. Shameless plug right now, zinhemp.com. Check it out. CBD products, supporting the culture. So what we got here, bro?
Yeah, we got basically the first Red Bull, you know, with Ronnie, and this is back in 2003. Ronnie and Omar, back in 2003. And, you know, the thing about it is, like, we train hard to do these things, and we want to get paid. But this is the first time that a corporation has really backed up breaking, was Red Bull. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they made it into a spectator type setting, right? The stadium seating is going up. It's on a stage. They're centralizing the event, right? The athletes, if you will.
Yeah.
They took it out of the cypher setting and made it a little more like a spectator, right? They have the lighting, the production, the branding on the floor.
Yeah. And when we talk about this type of stuff, this is what, like, we're starting to chase this thing, right? We're starting to chase, you know, if we go even way more back than that, you know, we're talking about, you know, before that was a freestyle session, right? That was kind of like well, before that was actually even Radiotron. That was the first tapes that were getting, you know, shipped all over the world, right? And then you saw about the year.
What was the cash prize for?
I forget, but it was like kind of like you got a trophy. You got this title. That was the first, like, in America, like, a title. You won this event, and you knew other crews from different parts of California came, and that helped create the LA scene in the mid 90s, from like 95 to about 97.
Legacy back then was the ROI on that.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because it's like, you know, like, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not from that era. I'm not necessarily from that era. That's after my era. You know what I'm saying? So it's all different. So that was probably the first time you felt pressure to win. You felt this pressure of just that, if I have this win, I'll be the person for that year or however long, because there's only one tape. So you might be that person or that crew for 2 years, because that tape might be shipped to Australia and they get it 6 months later. Then they watch it. Then they go, okay, these are the people, because of the bandwidth of, like, how fast you got information, right? So you'll be like kind of word by mouth, and you could be like training in the garage, and you have a whole new arsenal by the time you get to Australia, if you got flown out there. So you look totally new. You know what I'm saying? You look totally different. And
it's hard to do in this day and age when we have Red Bull and we have Monster, right?
Oh yeah.
They have full sponsored teams where, hey, here's a salary.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are today. Like, certain B-boys are like, hold on, I need this amount right here. You want me to do this battle? But hold on, you're not putting your main point that you brought up. Like, B-boys, their main thing is, hey, I sacrifice my body. We're like UFC. We're like all these other extreme sports and more, you know, for the reasons that we have. But how come we're not getting paid the UFC salary? How come we're not getting paid like skaters, like all these other sports?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. The thing is obviously with skating, there's product. So like, let's say a board cost, I don't know, $2 to make. They could charge $30, $40, $50 a board from one guy that's influencing and winning, or just, let's just say influencing. Because of that, $30 and you sell 1,000, that's $30,000. You know what I mean? Or 300. You know what I mean? And that's just 1,000. That's just 1,000. Let alone when they're on a magazine. At the time, they're on a magazine, so there was product. So a lot of people thought that in breaking, the reason why we sponsorship doesn't happen is because we don't have any product, right? But now we're talking now, right? The UFC doesn't have product. The product is, you know what? Gloves, gear. But no one's really buying that. You know what I'm saying? No one's really buying that. They're watching the spectacle. And the
Tap Out. Remember Tap Out?
Yeah, but that's still like chump change. And that's what I'm saying. It's still low. It's still low. Like when a company wants to invest in you, they're saying like, we want customers to buy $10 million of our product. That's like, that's the standard that we don't, as B-boys and B-girls, we don't understand. Then you go, oh, Red Bull. Well, dude, until like the max viewers in Red Bull is 1 million.
In one event?
Max view in the main event is 1 million.
That's more than I thought. That's actually not bad.
Not enough.
Not enough, but
not enough. Not to a sponsor. It's not enough. Yeah. It's not enough. It's not enough. While B-boys is like, yeah, they have all this money, but we're not putting asses in seats, bro. We're just not. We're not like that. We're still niche. 1 million views is 1 million practitioners around the world. And that's how many practitioners are breaking. So it's 1 million.
Their ROI is trumping our ROI, and we're not understanding that, hey, they're investing, they need a return. They're a business. That's how they breathe, survive, right? So we see people like Break Free. They're trying to do the pay-per-view, the UFC kind of approach to it, and get certain invitees, competitors paid, which is cool. I like to see them evolve and build that. I think that's one step towards, getting it towards.
It's an idea. It's an idea, but the real challenge is to create fans. I think that's the main thing, is to create fans. That's the only way we could get to that level. It's not us, because we're like I said, if there's 1 million practitioners around the world that break, and there's 1 million spectators that watch Red Bull live, the World Finals live, there's no one new watching. We haven't created any fans. It's just us. And that's not enough to be like, okay, now I'm going to give you a $100,000 contract to be part of Red Bull. Even all the Red Bull BC1 All-Stars, I know they don't want to but none of them are making 100,000 contract a year. None of them.
We don't know that.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
pretty sure.
But even at that, I mean, yeah, like there needs to be more money. How do we get it there, bro? Like, we need to get butts in the seats, or we need to get products, is what you're getting. If we're taking the skating kind of approach.
Okay. So the skating approach is they did have big competitions in the mid 80s or mid to late 80s. They did have competitions. Like I've said this before, we are skating in the 80s right now. There was like two major events in skating, which was the Vision Streetwear and early X Games. That was like 2 events. That's familiar. Like that's Red Bull right now. Red Bull's one, and then the others, like there's these ones that are a little bit, like not as big as Red Bull, but they're starting to get there. You know what I mean? Like you still have your freestyle session, which is sponsored by part of the Before Breaking Tour, which is sponsored by Jack in the Box this time. And they're relying on what we're doing, because now it's a free market. That's the difference between, you know, skating back in the 80s and now, is that it's a free market. And what I mean by free market, it's like anyone could get asses in seats. So I want to show, I'm going to pull up this clip. What do you think of what I just said as I pull up this clip?
I think you said, well, let's go a little further back. You said 1 million viewers.
Yep.
Let's say there's a quarter, and help me fix the numbers on the fly if you don't mind. There's a quarter million practitioners. Would you say that's safe?
No, 1 million.
Practitioners.
Practitioners, there's 1 million.
So I remember we're our own culture and ecosystem. 1 million?
1 million.
Like I live in Houston and there's 2 million people here. We are.
There's 7 million here in San Francisco.
if we wanted to, 7 you said?
7 million in San Francisco.
Damn. If we wanted to, if we supported each other, right? Maybe that could be something that somebody needs to run a campaign.
And I present this again. The problem is we're all practitioners, so we're not going to support each other like that. It's like Larry Bird selling his Converse shoe to Michael Jordan. It's not happening. It's just not happening.
A bigger picture is being painted right now, so we can see it slowly happening, man. I see b-boys that wouldn't open up even on their social media. Now they're talking. Now they're like, I mean, even crews, man. It's not. We're stepping away from the tribal, the small, like tribal cliquey culture, and we see the bigger picture. It's evolving, man. You know, I think it can get there. We just need to.
I mean, obviously a different strategy. Obviously, a different strategy is happening, but you know, whenever I talk about this, I always talk scale. I always talk scale versus grassroots. I always talk scale. And I don't talk scale to discourage anyone. I talk scale to kind of like put it in perspective. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if it's scale, the question is, how do we get to scale, right? And I'm going to bring up one guy right now, and not everyone likes him, but it doesn't matter, because this is the whole point.
What I'm saying right now, though, is, you know, and I heard this too before. I don't know how true it is, but you're always like one follower away from getting to 1 million. That one person could.
So I brought up Backpack Kid. So let's so this guy was a TikTok. Oh shoot, I messed up. A TikTok.
Hey, we're not that kind of show, bro. What's going on here, man?
My bad. I pressed the button by accident, but this guy was basically an Instagram and TikTok star. Okay, that's ready. So this guy, Backpack Kid, he made the floss dance popular. Let's watch this guy go. So this guy, he danced for Katy Perry, just some awkward white kid, right?
Oh man, the most relatable.
So
archetype,
the thing about him is that he probably has 1 million followers on Instagram, right? And look, this is all he's doing. This is all he's doing.
Yo,
that's it,
man.
That's all he's doing, right?
Well, you're selling a dream right there. The psychology is, hey, if he can do it, anybody can do it.
So yeah, that's all he's doing. But the thing is, no b-boy or b-girl has matched him yet.
Because b-boying is different. It's an actual art.
But here's the thing. But the thing is, the idea is, what I'm saying is, the idea is that if we concentrated on what he concentrated on, we could get to the levels of what he has. The problem is we don't. We concentrate on one pie. That's my point. The pie is, let me get to Red Bull. Let me get to freestyle sessions. So 2 things out of an infinite way of opening up the market, that's all we're concentrating on.
Not everybody, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, the majority.
Okay, how many people? Okay, how many b-boys and b-girls have a podcast?
I don't know, maybe like 5 that I could list, but I don't know very many other.
That's 5, man.
That I know about.
You know how many sports people have podcasts? You know how many, you know, like whatever podcasts? That's 5. Smurf, Dizzy, you know, Not So Fresh podcast. There's 2 from Texas. Break Free. That's another.
Yeah,
dude, that's still not filling my hand yet.
Mm-hmm.
Have we ventured off in anything else besides Freestyle Session and Red Bull?
So what you're talking about is building a community outside of the community, right?
No, well, we're talking what you brought up earlier. You know, like kind of like the grassroots stuff. We haven't built that. Not in media. We haven't done it. This is what I'm saying. Everyone's practicing. What are you practicing for? The next competition? Okay. You want to document it? Huh? No. One guy's Hanjun from LA, from Concrete All Stars. That guy's a TikTok fan, famous, but he says some controversial stuff that's clickbaity, like, hey, I made up the windmill. I made up turtles. I made up the backspin. He purposely does that to cause controversy to get his followers up. And it works. I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm just saying he's doing it. At least he's doing it. Is he really winning like that? Not necessarily. But on TikTok, he's winning. He has a lot of fans on TikTok because he just talks smack.
Yeah, so media is an incredible way, right, to find different ways and to create your own community ultimately, right? That's kind of what it is.
It's an open market because all, you know, here's the thing too. All those kids that he's causing controversy to, right? Like he's lying about the windmill. They're fans of him. Then guess what? They become fans of breaking because they're fans of him. Once it's like a gateway to like the real. Oh, he's full of shit, but I like this other guy he was dancing with, or I like the guy that he battled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's opening the gate right there. You know what I'm saying? How many B-boys and B-girls are doing that? Honestly, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, not very much.
Yeah, because they want to win Freestyle Session and Red Bull. It's still the same thing. Like, I want to win a car jam battle.
The majority that aren't doing that are the ones that are really internal with it. It's for self. They do it for self, not for monetary return. So
they do it for self, but they're still entering competition though. How's that for self?
For legacy, for self. I don't.
That's not self.
For regiment, for
that you could do that without competing though.
Really, I think competing is an incredible incentive to push you.
You could do all that by yourself.
Competition is the highest level of testing yourself. Some people like the test of it. A lot of people like the challenge.
Then why don't they just do ciphers more?
Because depending on the era, some do ciphers. I love a nice cipher battle.
Yeah, but see what I'm saying? Like, but then the incentive is still fame. You know what I mean? It's still validation in that way. And what I'm saying is, like, if you want to make monetary gain, that where you don't feel like you're selling out, you have to get imaginative versus like the same thing. It can't be all Freestyle Session. It can't be all like, you know, I'm going to bring up another guy who competes, but, you know, he's a creative. We're already going off, but, you know, we're already going off of what we're talking about. But at the same time, it's like, I'm just trying to demonstrate there's different aspects of this thing that we could do and just be, you know, beyond. We're closer, because if we're artists, we're closer to musicians than athletes. If you want to use the artist moniker, then we should treat it like an art versus treat it like a competition. So right here, this is Kuzia's like IG. Look at this. Boom. What the hell? Boom. Boom. This is art. This has nothing to do with competition.
Oh, beautiful. I love those shapes, man.
Look at that, right? Look at that.
That looks like a beautiful choreographed piece from Dietrich's right there. One of his.
But this is what I'm saying. Like he's doing stuff that's like artistic. Like that's crazy.
Oh, dope. Yeah, I don't follow this for a while.
Yeah, that's crazy. So okay, like and then this is on a rant. All right, B-boy artists, why aren't you making stuff like this then? Do you need to compete to make that? That was better than the Backpack Kid. With that, he probably can get Backpack Kid views.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing freestyle session. He's doing Red Bull, but that's not his only outlet. And this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. They're transcending the battle culture of breaking, right?
Yes.
It is confined, like what you're saying, and they're finding ways to build a community and use their art to express themselves.
Yeah.
Thinking outside of the box.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, everyone keeps saying selling out. Dude, this is the truth. And this is a hot take. If you join a competition, you're selling out. For real, think about it. You're putting your rep to 3 people that might not like you.
Yo, what's that platform that Roman always talks about? He's like, yo, we'll do it here, and then we'll put the bigger content here, and then it's one of those things that people pay a minimal amount, but if you get a lot of them to buy, then it helps out a lot.
Patreon.
So I'm saying, like, we have all these, Patreon.
There's options. There's options. You know what I'm saying? There's options, but then people aren't thinking like this. They're still, practitioners aren't thinking like this. They're thinking of, so for instance, I brought up Arc. You know, I told you behind the scenes, like Arc made a certain amount of money, more than some B-boys I know did, from just teaching. He wasn't the most popular B-boy, but he knew how to market himself. He knew what to do. I mean, you would see him at events with like 20 kids, right? And it's like, oh, I can't do this because I have to take care of these kids. But he was making bank doing what he loved. So, and I didn't see anyone like that. And he was making more money than most. And I know he was, because we talked, and we would talk to people about how much money they were making from breaking. He was making more than most. And he wasn't signed to anyone. You know what I'm saying? He just was good with money. He knew how to market himself. And this is the stuff that, you know, we need to learn how to do.
Yeah,
you know?
Not only rely on breaking and the competitive scene. We need to help build and expand and create different avenues. Why not doing that as well as an educator?
Exactly.
Arc, you know, much respect to the 808 boys, man. Arc, killing it, man. Producing incredible results. I spoke to him a few times, and he gave me all the details I wanted to know, man. It's super transparent about it. It's no ego at all, man. And he helped me a lot in the beginning of what I was doing at BTR as well. His systems and his structure is just, I haven't heard anything like that in the scene. That was so codified, like you said, man, and in different aspects of it, not only the skills, but the culture itself and everything that he did, the experience he created, the educational experience, man, is next level, man.
So this is what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I mean, if we were like more imaginative, like even like Nasty Ray makes crazy videos, weird videos, but it's still artistic in his thing, right? It's not understood in the competition sense, but just in a general sense, it's pretty, like, you know, I can't knock it. It's not meant for me. But that's the whole point. It's meant to, like, for like, you're trying to create a market. You're trying to create your brand with what you do with it. And I think the problem is, it's like when people think brands are just thinking of these clothing, like, you know, just merch. But then what we're talking about is like, why don't you create content out there that's more artistic? That's more like, you know, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because we're honestly, we're closer to music artists than we are actual athletes. Honestly, Backpack Kid, he'll never win an event, but it's his personality, his style, his thing, that's what he's selling. And we could do that as B-boys and B-girls, but no, we're trying to win freestyle session. We're trying to win these competitions too much. You could do both, right? Your job could be creating some dope content as your day job and then competing at night. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you gave us a list right there of several things that you could do, right? You can think outside of the box. You can innovate. You can maximize media platforms to build your personal brand. With that comes merch, and building your community. Right? Because once you have a community, then you have power, and you have
100.
Relationship equity is definitely surpasses money.
You know, Jay-Z said it himself. Your network is your net worth.
99 problems, but mine.
You know what I'm saying? We have a few other clips you want, ready, because like we're really, I'm going off, right? Like I'm like, frustrated like an old man, right? Old grumpy old man. Like, you young kids don't know what to do. And I'm talking about you old people too, same shit.
Oh, bro, do you think right now, I mean, we're painting the opposite picture, but do you think it's a viable and it's a valid I guess expectation to get money off competitions? It's happening.
It's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough, because it's like just like it's just like UFC. UFC, even if you're in the UFC, if you're not the top 10%, you're not making much. You still got it, because like throughout that, let's say you have a fight. Let's say it's like you get paid $30,000 for one fight, and then you only fight once a year. You still got to pay the gym. You got to pay your coaches. You got to pay all these different fees. So at the end of the day, one fight that's supposed to last $30,000 is you're only going to make really $2,000 off of that after payments and taxes and all that stuff. So it's the same struggle. You have to be Conor McGregor to make a certain amount.
What's interesting is Vans is sponsoring Rockforce, man. That's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. It's happening. I mean, it's slowly happening. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Monster, Vans. This is just in America. I'm sure overseas they, like everything else, they take care and respect and support the arts more than we do here in America. But
well, yeah, and that's the thing in international, like in France and Europe, they pay for art. So these battles that they do, it's considered art projects, and the government totally funds you. You get a grant. Every crew out there in France gets a grant for their crew because they're considered artists. So they make a show or a battle. So they're making money from researching to doing the show, and then actually executing and making money from the show. And then it's paid from the government. And that's the difference between here and France, for instance. That's why there's so many B-boys in France. That's why there's so many jams in France, because the government actually pays for it. They pay for the arts, which we definitely don't. We don't pay for the arts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that could actually be a topic within itself right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That could be another solution if that was the case. And that's the that's a complaint in Europe. Oh, another ghetto kid is just gonna break to get the government money. I've heard that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like my boy Mouse, he asked about, like, what do you think about this event I'm having? It's gonna be all ciphers and this and that. It's like, you're not gonna make money out of it. And he was like, oh no, the government's paying me to do it. I go, well shit, then do it. Even if there's 5 people, you're getting paid by the government, so who cares? You know what I mean? Because I was like, it's not gonna work. Like, kids don't understand these days. They're not gonna understand that concept. You're only gonna have 5 people, maybe 10. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, it's free. I go, okay, well, how are you gonna make money? Oh no, then do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't exist. Do it.
Speaking of promotion, I mean, there's a big return for promoters.
Nope. Cross makes about $2,000 from freestyle session.
Okay, and what about merch, videos, and everything?
We gotta make that separate. That's separate from the actual event. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, he can't use his merch money to supply the event. The event itself he's making maybe $500 that day, because the venue might cost $10,000 to rent out. Then you have sound, and then you have engineer.
He doesn't need money from that event. I'm sure he wants to, and that's probably still a part of his goal. But what he was able to build from that event, traveling, judging, coordinating. He's a part of the Olympic, breaking for gold and all that. He's sitting pretty good, man. I mean, I don't know what he makes exactly, but I'm talking about international promoters, man. We know those guys.
The same thing. They're making money out of the government sponsorship. Yeah. It's not from the actual event. So it's like, sure. Yeah. So no, that's why all these B-boys and B-girls complain about the promoters. Like, they're not making anything, man. They're making a fraction of what you think they're making.
Some of them are making, dude, they get a fat salary to plan the whole year.
But that's different though. That's separate from the event. That's like they're working for the government.
Sure. They're putting into building the culture. So,
yeah, but I'm just saying that, but they're not making money from the event. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, a lot of people think that they're making money from the event. And
from
the thing,
spectators paying for it,
yeah,
not so
that's
much,
what,
but yeah,
no.
I mean, like,
but from the government, but again, in America, like, we're not making, a promoter's not making a lot.
When Braun, Nike, and I don't know, Red Bull, they have their logo fat on all the videos and on the floor of Battle of the Year, that goes to the government or that goes to the promoter?
Probably goes to the event. And then they still have to split the pay, the sponsorship money to the staff and paying them. So that's what I'm saying. Everyone thinks this is thing. Like, $1 million is nothing. Like, $1 million is nothing. We keep thinking it's something. It's nothing. When I say scale, I'm talking 10 million, like, required, before we can start talking 100,000. Before we can start talking about 6 figures for a B-boy, we still have to talk about 100 million views, 10 million views in one sitting. That's just what it is.
So what B-boy, you showed us that guy with the floss stance guy, the backpack guy. What B-boy is doing that?
None. None. Bale Rock is part of So You Think You Could Dance. He doesn't have as many followers, and he won So You Think You Could Dance. Still doesn't have it. Tim Ferris is not a B-boy.
I mean, I'll pull up a clip right now that says, "Hey, I'm a B-boy," and
I mean, he has to be a regular practitioner and part of the scene too. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's pull up that clip though. Let's pull up Tim Ferris though. Let's just, because, like, if you guys don't know, Tim Ferris turned Joe Rogan onto breaking. You know what I'm saying? He was the guy. Joe Rogan didn't know anything about breaking until Tim Ferris. Tim Ferris actually introduced stance to Joe Rogan.
I got
let's watch that.
2 answers from you guys, one from each of you.
You got it.
How y'all run y'all's businesses?
Real quick, you chopped off for a second, Charlie. One more time.
I said, what have y'all learned from hip hop that
has
transformed how y'all run your businesses?
I love it. Is that CEO Charlie? Charlie, I didn't catch your name. I love it. I'm so glad you're on the call, man. How are you doing?
Man, life is good. Never been better.
Ferris got a nice head spin on it.
Titty Boy is amazing.
AKA chains for all of you guys that don't know. Tim, what is your hip hop story, if
There you
at
go.
all?
There you
I'm
go.
actually not sure I know.
Yeah, you know, so believe it or not, I was one of the co-founders of the first hip hop dance troupe at Princeton University.
I'm so excited right now.
So this hip hop dance troupe, so b-boying and b-girling, is my history primarily. So I was listening to, at the time, like Eric B and Rakim and so on.
Of course.
But the dance troupe, which is still going strong now, I mean, more than 2 decades later. So I would say what I learned from hip hop is that, there are certain, at least within the dance forms, that there are certain techniques and there's certain basic principles, let's say in top rocking and footwork and power moves and all of that. So they're basic ingredients, but beyond that, you have the power to improvise, and that the rules are almost meant to be broken. Like if you look at, for instance, Korean b-boys and what they've done in the last 10 years, b-boy pocket, especially if people want to see power moves that'll blow their minds, can keep redefining this genre that is still recognizable as hip hop. And that's part of what's so exciting to me about it, is that while you have this recognizability and pattern matching, you still as an individual have so much freedom to create. And that's true in business. That's true in how you decide to interact with your loved ones, whatever the rules of engagement might be there. And so I think it can be translated to almost every possible area, including business, where I make a point.
There you go. So you asked me to pull up that clip. So what was the thoughts about pulling that clip up?
Improvisation. You said it right there. Improvisation is a foundation where you have the recognizable forms, master positions. He operated under principles. He named the different types of foundations within the dance: top rock, footwork, power moves, all these different ways that you can improv. And I think that's what we need to transcend and translate into getting money. That's what we're talking about right now with building the community, translating our ability and our practice, our daily practice of improvising into how can we adapt? How can we adapt in business? How can we adapt in our finances, in our income? How can we do that with what we're doing right now, with what we love doing? And having somebody like him talk about it. I mean, we hack culture and movement. He hacks learning, right? The Tribe of Mentors was the titled book on that clip right there, but he also did the 4-hour work week. Tim Ferris, we got to get him on here, by the way. But,
oh yeah, yes.
Yeah,
shout out to Carl.
Hint,
hint, hint, hint. Let's get him on here. Hint, hint.
Exactly, but I mean,
Favor, come on, Favor. If you could pull a Favor.
pattern recognition. He mentioned that right there.
Yeah,
like that in itself. If we're trying to play the game, right, of social media, like what patterns are you recognizing? What's working? What's not? How does it suit the context of who the individual is, their community is? How can you learn from that, right?
Yeah.
And make adjustments. That's one of the things about what ROI is, return of investment. Okay.
There you go.
It's just a way
you go. There you go.
It's a way you can track your progress and what you're doing, right? If I'm doing this for 20 hours a week, am I happy right now? What is my life like right now? Man, is my relationship suffering? Am I going to pay rent in a couple of months? I want to be a few months ahead of my rent. Can I do that with what I'm doing right now? Okay, no. Okay, cool. So I need to make adjustments. Word. So that's one of the big things. We're talking about ROI in a sense of like, how do we get the money? But the money needs to be a part of it. We have the non-monetary benefits that goes in deeper and transcends what we're doing. It's the slow burn. It's the long run, right? The return of investment. It's the ability to be creative, to be innovative, to practice improvisation, to adapt for survival.
I agree. It's like, like what you're talking about. When you say that, what I get from it is basically micro-calibrating. Every movement you're doing, you have to micro-calibrate and adjust and adapt. And I think the problem is, like I said, the challenge actually is not a problem. The challenge is like in my opinion, we're all chasing one pie. And that's one of the challenges is like, if the universe is infinite, why are we chasing one pie? Do you know what I'm saying? If it's really infinite, why are we chasing one pie? We should be chasing all the pies. So and then if we want to do one pie, for fun, we can. You know what I'm saying?
Pro, so what are you doing that's outside of this oversaturated pie that has too much?
The oversaturated the freestyle session Red Bull, and I love freestyle session and Red Bull. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the events. So I took we pulled up a Gary Vee clip, and the thing is, I am actually doing what Gary Vee talks about. I actually do, the social media game, which is posting every day, and to that right there actually is a challenge because one, it forces my creative juices, right? Like, what am I going to post today? Then the other thing is I get more of an inhibition of like, oh, I shouldn't post that. That looks stupid, and go, no, I should post it because it feels right. So it's like, to me, okay, this is game. Actually, let me zoom up on me again. This is game. I treat my IG like a record company or a TV station. So for instance, my stories are mixtapes, right? You have your album, right? And then you have mixtapes. Mixtapes are little freestyles that you might guest on a DJ, like maybe DJ Drama's mixtape, or you're on DJ Clue's mixtape, your 50 Cent, your little Wheezy or whatever, and you get the hype going by your mixtape, which is your stories. Then I treat my everyday as an album. Like, so the stories are a freestyle, while my actual posts are albums. So I have to plan out my albums, but then it's just like, until my approach is I'm McDonald's until I'm supreme. If you're supreme, you come out with one product once every 6 months, and it becomes rare. And that rarity gives it value. But I'm not Supreme. I'm McDonald's. I'm trying to be Applebee's right now. So if I'm McDonald's, that means I have to take mental real estate. That means I have to post every day. If I was really gangster, I'd be posting 5 times a day. If I was really gangster. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm trying to do is take up mental real estate for people. And then the theory is if they watch one thing, they'll go back and watch everything else that I do too. So I have to create a consistency. And then even Gary Vee said this, and this is like for all you OGs out there, and you're going to eat this shit. You're only as good as your last thing you did. I don't
think so hard, man.
You're only as good as, so I posted a clip of me Monday. That was how good I was. Doesn't matter what I did 20 years ago. My legacy doesn't matter back then. It matters now. I'm in the now. Mm-hmm. I have 3 world titles. No one knows that shit. I have a Battle of the Year and 2 freestyle sessions. No one knows. I just said it now because I told you. Mm-hmm. But no one knows. Yeah, and plus competition is so oversaturated. No one cares who won anymore. What's more important is you get on a stance clip. Mm-hmm. You're more noticed for that.
Social media, a stance clip is a space-time event. It's legit. So when you say that like that, I mean, I never had that perspective. That's pretty dope, man. You're only as good as your last. It's legit, man, on social media. Right? You have more people watching you there than you do at a live jam.
Dude, so, 100. So the whole thing is what I was happy about in my social media is I didn't have to do anything that I didn't want to do. And I'm like, I mean, like in the grand scale of things, you know, 10K is nothing still, right? But for a B-boy, it's pretty good, right? Because like I said, Backpack Kid's 1 million followers. Like, you know, there's no B-boy at 1 million or B-girl at 1 million. None. Doesn't exist yet. The closest is Keen, who's a photographer that's a B-boy. He has 3 million followers on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
But that's a photographer, and he does, like, you know, he'll do the splits while he's taking the camera. So he's doing kiddie stuff. So, like, he'll do the splits, like, and go upside down to the camera. It's like, but he understands marketing.
He found his his niche within it, right? Quality perspective, man.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too, is, like, it's not just that. Is he has a good quality camera, too. And he knows how to edit stuff together. So the quality of the look of it is really good. So that's another thing, you know what I mean?
So his legacy will live on through that angle with it. That's the return for me, pro, in this. You know, if I can make money from it and make a living and to have resources to sustain putting in energy, incredible. But it's not going to stop me, man. Legacy is the return, and community and contributing to the break scene, to the gearheads. We have Roman Mohammed saying elbow cough. Somebody got to check his elbow. If not, well, we got this thing right here. I'm not sure if it's the throat, the congestion, or what's going on, but we got these incredible inflammation pulling and drawing technology, nano drops right here. The newest stuff out. We got topicals, if not for that elbow. Roman, treat yourself. Don't treat yourself. So, hey, good topic. Good talk on that, man. Do we have any battles that we kind of?
Yeah, man. We got some battles, but just to wrap up, the subject, it's like, that, I mean, we could go deep. We already went deep, but we could go even deeper. But just to sum it all up, the return of investment is that you have to really invest. And my thing is, if everyone's investing in one thing, it's not enough. You got to, diversify your investment as far as your presence out there and putting yourself out there. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to be just one pie. You know what I mean? And you could do, and because the gates are open as far as social media, there's no real gatekeepers. I mean, yeah, sure, you could get shadow banned, but the whole point is to create content that is useful, that gives value. And the only way you're going to do that is like by actually putting effort into it. I think not enough practitioners put effort into it. They're consumed with winning versus like creating multiple situations where they're winning on micro levels that adds up to a macro level. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things.
Frames, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Dope, man. What battles are we pulling up?
All right, so we're gonna pull up 2 battles. We're first gonna go to the original home place of hip hop. We're gonna go to the Bronx, New York, because they had a Red Bull. They had a Red Bull qualifier out there in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna watch that real quick. We're gonna commentate. We're gonna commentate on that right now. So we have Dr. K versus DQ. Dr. K, Pinoy brother from New York.
Wait, that's Hawaiian. Hold on.
Representing the Titans. The elbow freeze.
Nice setup. Love the concept, how he held his foot right there.
Yeah. The pants, though. Nice thread. Pop-up elbow. Now we got my man DQ from the DMV. Okay.
Dope setup. Boom.
Set up windmill flare.
That's the intelligence of breaking. That setup right there.
Ooh, you see that? He almost like hit the crowd. That's what you call control, right? Awareness, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, round 2.
Keeping your eye on your opponent. If you keep your eye on your opponent, you have a good idea of where you will be at all times. It's such a simple thing.
We got Dr. K.
Ooh, power. Okay.
Hit that air flare.
Nice positional clarity. You can tell he has control in all of his steps, his patterns.
Yeah, really strong guy too. A little bit slip there. DQ.
He's compact. He's playing to his body. You know, his anatomy very well.
Yeah. We can say that about DQ too. He's using his length.
Yeah. Taking up bigger space, right? Showing
bigger
frames.
Yeah.
It's
Whoa.
nice.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it's dope.
Yeah. I can see why this is the finals for the Bronx, man. I think Dr. K is from Queens, if I believe. I might be wrong. Correct me in the comments to know where Dr. K is from. Whoa, boomerangs.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Okay.
10 guys in the world that can do boomerangs.
You know what I mean?
Give or take.
Last round, Dr. K.
Oh, the first attempt at actually dancing. Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes that's a good strategy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, he gave text and complexity, but now it's like, okay, I can show I can groove. For a third round, this is a very good third round.
That's how you know someone's doing sets when they start like far away from their opponent, right? You can be like, oh, okay, you practice this a bunch.
Yeah.
Not saying nothing bad against that. You know,
no, I'm not against sets at all. I'm not against sets at all.
No. But you can just tell, right? Like
like Wing from Rebel BC1, he does sets, but it's still pretty impressive. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as energy output, I feel like DQ's putting out more energy output, which is not bad for the third round.
Performance energy.
Yeah.
He's presenting him. Oh, did he hit the beat right there?
I think so, yeah.
He did that fish out of water. It feels like
literally.
I'll buy it. I mean.
All right.
Improv.
All right. Let's see who the winner was. We got Nagin, Rockefeller.
You want to give your take first? Who you think?
Okay, hold on. Pause. Okay. All right. Execution wise, I felt like Dr. K did better. Stylistically,
which one's Dr. K?
The Filipino kid.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like he executed better. There was one little slip in this third round, but as far as execution, I give it to Dr. K. As far as style preference, I would give it to DQ.
Yeah.
I just like his dance a little bit better. But if I were to say if the judges go for execution, I'd say it was Dr. K. How about you?
I didn't judge it round by round. I was just kind of looking at the whole picture and viewing it with the idea of forming a holistic kind of view. I've never seen any of these B-boys, so you know,
there's an advantage then.
Yeah, Dr. K, all of his rounds look similar.
True.
There's something about it. DQ, yeah, man, like he had more traditional positions and steps that he mixed in really well. The flow that he mixed in, you know, from power to forward and stuff like that. I like that a lot, man. His rounds look different. He was performing a little better. Yeah, I mean, mechanics wise, they were both good. Like you said, they were playing to their body.
Yeah. I think mechanics wise, they were both good.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. K. Yeah. He was hitting nice little connectors with his legs, right? Close to the ground, creating nice shapes and angles. DQ, sorry, I'm trying to read the name. DQ, yeah. He was extending his body out, but swinging and creating energy and flow in a dope way as well. Yeah. So he was hitting these small little like leg connectors and hooks and stuff.
Right.
Moving from the torso a lot more. Now
he gave to me, he gave a little bit more improvisation in the finals for his third round, which is kind of dope to have that much energy, mental energy at that point, especially if you're feeling fatigued because you went the whole day. I think that, but I don't know if I'm not saying that I'm counting that, but I'm just saying that's impressive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, considering I would say it's close, but I think that would edge it for me is the improv at the end.
All right, word.
I wish your music was a little louder, but
copyright.
yeah. I mean, it's just another dimension of expression is when you can improv within your own rounds, right?
Yeah.
Dr. K had some clean sets, but yeah, DQ, his ability to improv, to me, that's adding another dimension on a bunch of different levels. So,
all right.
Who do you think
won?
Verdict?
You said if I play it safe, I think Dr. K. But I prefer DQ. Okay. And you say DQ.
Who is the judges before I give is?
I think this is either Wild Child or Super Dave from Step Fiends, Nagin and Rockefeller.
Okay, word. I'm gonna go for DQ just to pick the opposition, and we didn't see what they did before with a freestyler. Somebody has freestyle, he could have did that.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know, but we're just judging the battle, right?
We're judging this battle. I'll go DQ.
Here you go. Dr. K, what'd I tell you? Execution, man.
Good call.
Execution, bro.
I went emotional on that one.
You're like, I wouldn't
have put money.
You're like, I'll have put money. That's funny. Whoops. Oh, we're getting the next battle ready. I made the rookie mistake. Oh no, I didn't. I was like, I made the rookie mistake. I did the wrong way. But no, that was crazy, man. That was crazy. It was like, honestly, it was very close. That was pretty close. It could have been either way, depending on the judges. Really, right? Depending on the judges, it could have gone to DQ. But I feel like if the judges were Nagin voting for DQ, Super Dave and Rockefeller voting for Dr. K. Don't know if that's the case, but I think that's what the call is. All right. Let's watch the last battle of the day. We have the qualifier for the World Breaking Classic over there in Rotterdam. We got the finals. We have Rock Force versus Havoc Koro.
Boom.
Let's watch that real quick. We have Tadao and Tadao from Rock Force and homie from the Bay Area versus Jeremy and Palmer.
Mad Action, right?
Yeah, Mad Action. There you go.
Right on.
My bad, Mad.
Shout out to Spin Control.
All right.
Oh, on beat.
With the knee rock footwork, chair, clean chair. Yo, he has a natural ability. That's the one thing about Matt. He has a natural ability.
And it's gonna be he's gonna do it different too. All these moves you see because he has a lengthier body and he's able to do power.
Yeah.
But
one thing about Jeremy Palmer, you can't say that they're not original. Okay.
Musical too, man. And the,
Yeah.
the tempo that they break at. They keep this.
Yeah.
This tempo. Could have been a stronger freeze. Pattern. Bah. Phrasing. Right at the end of that phrase. Dope.
So Dow, I believe from Colorado. Very strong competitor. Tadal's a very strong competitor. I've seen him live before. Pretty dope.
Good presence with his hops already.
Yeah.
Nice breaking text. Nice transition out of a basic freeze. I like that.
Opposite. Yep. I like that. I love when B-boys could go opposite directions with setups.
Man. Strong flares. Simple move, but
yeah,
the way he set it up, dope. Could have brought clarity in that pattern, but I seen what he was doing. Oh, backside catch. Not a nice
Palmer,
but
I gotta give it up to Palmer, man. Like his ability is pretty high level, to be honest. His basic like power move structure is dope.
Bruh, like me getting pigeon. It's making me go pigeon up, bruh. Dude. You can tell he has an endorphin rush, like from his top rocks. Right? He goes in, he's excited, man. Look at boom, intelligent breaking, man. Transitionally, points of contact.
We got mad action.
All the micro articulations that Palmer does, man. High intelligence. And Mad Action got forced, man. He's in the right crew.
Yeah.
Boom, critical. Nice West Coast.
Actually, Mad Action makes sense for Rock Force because he's a Bay Area native and is from Union City area, which a lot of the
okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
The original location of the original Rock Force generation, the first generation.
So yeah, he has a pretty complete style, man.
Yeah. That 90 wasn't as strong. But we'll see what Jeremy does.
Yeah, he's not going to bring power, so he didn't need a strong 90 to really for it to count against him in this particular battle. Nice back.
One thing about Jeremy, man, flexibility, right? You need flexibility.
Yeah. I've seen Roland Blunts do that backspin before. Not saying it's a bite, moves happen all the time, but definitely need to credit Roland Blunts on that.
Tadao.
Nice drop, simple.
Yep.
Adding dimension and unpredictability to the drop.
Yeah.
Simple ways of doing that.
Nice chair flare. I like that transition.
What happened there? It froze for a little bit. Okay. Boom. So simple freezes, but the articulations he's adding to it, man, is nice.
Yeah.
Wow. He just segmented a sweep to a drop in four ways before he hit the drop.
Right. I like Dow's dope. I like the way when he does that stuff. I really like his transitions.
Yeah.
One thing I would say about Palmer I would like to see more is like more of an arch in his back when he's on his shoulders. On his back. He went straight one shot head spin.
Yeah.
To flare, not bad.
Oh, nice. If you're gonna do a one shot,
okay. That last freeze was hard as shit. Yeah.
Dude. So on a skill level, now I can see why. I know who won this. I can see why now.
Yeah,
like,
this round is this round is fire. Yeah, okay. All right. All right.
Oh, hey, bro, if he touches, is that count against him? Are you touching him down?
That looked more by accident. You know what I mean? More spatial awareness. Didn't look like it was on purpose.
I could swing my head above my arm above your head, and you accidentally lean into it, and I could say, "Oh, I didn't need to hit you, but should I have swung in your circle? Probably not." Boom, nice setup.
Last round to Dow. Now the thing is, what's interesting about this is that last round that Matt did gave him a lot of big serotonin boosts.
Gave who, his partner or himself?
Matt, but then that's gonna give to Dow like more confidence.
Oh yeah, now they're having fun.
Yeah.
Once your boy kills it, oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's easier.
Bro, the flip in the middle of the round tells you a lot about his physical endurance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of
to the kid David.
Yeah.
Let's the Jeromski, but on beat.
Right. Let's see what Palmer does. Is it enough to take it? You know what I mean? Because those last 2 rounds were pretty crazy.
Palmer looks similar in his last drop right there already.
Yeah. The main thing is when you know that you're losing, you need to actually calm down even more to deliver. Right?
That was like a freestyle round right there. There was no,
Yeah.
It didn't surmount to any punctuation exactly. It was a dope sentence,
right,
with very impactful words.
Is it a tiebreaker? Oh, it's going to a tiebreaker.
Oh wow, dope.
Okay, okay.
Who's the judges?
I can't see from here.
Boom, takes it first. Kind of trendy. Is that going to count against anybody? Everyone's seemingly doing that do knock little like boom to jazz split.
Yeah, but you know, it depends on who takes the tiebreaker. It's whoever can match something like that, because you know, in tiebreaker everything's erased, right? Whoa, that was kind of hard, yo.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of hard though. The Cujo walks from a 90, turtle 90 Cujo walks.
The crisp jackhammers to turtle too.
Yeah, in the beginning.
He didn't go jackhammers to cricket. He went jackhammers to turtle. It's a different weight shift and transfer. Yeah. Highly skilled, man, just to do that in itself.
So the thing is, Jeremy can't, like, now the pressure's on Jeremy, so he has to deliver even more than usual. You know what I'm saying?
Jeremy and his brother, they got this wild, wild west like energy, man.
He said wild, wild west. Because they're from Texas?
Texas, partner. Dope. Intelligent and highly detailed, man.
But the problem is when you're swinging haymakers and doing 1-2 combinations, it'll be better if you're swinging haymakers. Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure. I mean, they're hitting on a bunch of different levels, man. And this isn't even their named people.
Yeah.
Rock course.
Yeah. Oh, Maka. It looks like Maka was a judge.
2, 1.
All right.
Could you tell on their face that the individuals knew who won right before the call?
Yeah. All right. That was crazy. Shouts out to Mad Action and to Tadao. I like to say like how they say it, how Lawrence Fishburne said it in the Snoop Dogg video. My man Tadao. Tadao. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So Mad Action, dude. I'm very impressed. Yo, I think it was kind of, in my opinion, in the beginning it was kind of even, but when Matt had that one round, the head spin round, and then he caught that freeze with one hand, like, you know, just the reverse, like grabbing, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That serotonin jump went whoo, like this. Now, the thing is, what I was saying before is that when you're up against that, right, you have to actually, what Palmer did was like, nah, fuck that. Actually, that's bad. That's bad to do that, because that means it's emotional and you're panic mode. You need to do this in a situation where you're getting knocked out. Mental clarity, and then build up the energy, in my opinion.
That's interesting. I think, yeah, that's valuable for sure.
Yeah.
What I understand about Palmer and Jeremy, they operate under one mode, and that's go.
Right.
They don't change tempo too much. When I say wild, wild west, they're out there and they're jamming, man. On music, the energy is high. It's at a high level, and they keep it there. There isn't very much of this, like what you've seen. Freezes and power gives an opportunity for a little more of this, a little more swing to it, right?
Word.
but they're at a constant tempo and they're throwing out just dope shit, man. Like you said, a lot of original stuff, man.
Yeah.
Just weren't doing as much as
Yeah.
as the other side, and they were on beat too. The other side, they were having fun with it. And
yeah. Here's my thing though. My take on it is that because I'm older, I can't do that.
I see the world how we.
I can't do that. I'll be like, especially if it's like I've been breaking the whole day. I can't do that. I have to be strategic, not just in my movement, but my energy output. I have to be, right? And at the same time, like this is why it's like like everyone's like, oh, fighting is different from this. It's like, no, it isn't. The punching in the face, yeah, but if you do that in a fight, in a boxing match, you lost. Because that means the other guy knows that he got you in his emotions. So you're gonna just panic, and I'm gonna fucking throw a punch to the gut that you weren't prepared for. Now, if you're calm, you could see that punch clear coming. If you're calm, you can actually deliver your intent clear, and your moves become clear. Yeah, that's actually the point. You have to calm down.
Yeah, you're economizing your performance and your energy, right? When you're able to do that and understand, here's the gas pedal, here's the brake as well. And maybe I could just let up on the gas pedal and not have to step on the brake, and it'll give me enough time to return to the environment, to the context, to the music, and also while I'm doing that, I'll get charged up to step on the gas at the right moment. Maybe around a turn.
Yes.
Around the turn real quick, and then boom, I'll hit it a lot better.
Yeah, I don't have to put the gas. I could just drift, and then, you know what I mean? I might be able to drift. Yeah.
The drifters are the pockets.
Right.
And the gains and the people, you know.
Yeah, man. So that, dude, that was crazy. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, once we start getting to the science of it, I think that's, because of this is the advantages of labeling breaking as a sport. Because now we can start analyzing these energy outputs, versus like, man, that's how I feel. That's how music feels. It's like, okay, sure. But as you get older, for me or myself, I have to be aware of this stuff. I got to know when. Because that might be an injury in the happening. And no battle, I don't care, is not worth an injury. Because that could take you out for months, maybe years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, operating under first principles, we could see that Rock Force with their ability to maximize the different types of foundations. And Havoc Corals bringing their very unique style, their high energy, kind of their battle energy. But yeah, I mean, you could tell that they are a little more in tune with first principles of mechanics, because they can do power moves, they can spin, and they can keep it within the flow, within the tempo, and they can stop on beat, and they can pick up and not lose any of that energy, and in fact build, like what we've seen with Mad Actions was second round or his third round, when he boom did that nice combo wrapped up in the freeze face them, boom, he
that
knew
was crazy,
right?
That
you
was
said the serotonin right there, and the energy just stayed up, and it allowed him to compound the energy and compound the moment that he had. Very excellent thing that you pointed out, and a very beautiful thing about what competitions brings out. Diapers too, but I'm saying competition. When you can hit,
they'll bring it out. They'll bring it out. But I'm just saying, if we keep talking artists and you compete, don't say that.
There's artistry in the competition as well, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but then there's But what I'm saying is like this. The problem is, again, if we put too much value on one thing, is my thing. Just like in anything else, you want in business, you have a main thing, but you need multiple revenues of income coming in. You need multiple streams of income. So you need multiple approaches to investment and putting output out there. And the problem is, if we invest in only one, then that's less likelihood of, it's harder for success versus multiple streams of success, right? Which those multiple can lead to the top one, actually, which is funny. Because if you create brand awareness, that creates momentum for visibility. And once that visibility happens, it's easier to, like, you have a visibility advantage to winning a competition because of bias and exposure. So that's what I'm saying.
Roman in the comments here, he put Gary V says don't focus on financial ROI, just add more value than you take. I love how he simplified it like that for sure. I have heard that before. I just have to make sure we mentioned that. And he also asked in the Olympics who would win between them. The answer is the same.
Which one? Which one? The Dr. K one or this one? The Dr. K and DQ one or the Rock Force versus Havoc Core?
Oh yeah, it might have been because it's 20 minutes ago about now.
Yeah.
It might have been
well, let's just answer that question. I think that in the Olympics, it depends. I mean, here's the thing. It depends who they're competing against. It can't be just they're going to win. It depends on who they're competing against. In the finals of it.
I think it's if they were battling each other in the finals, who would win?
DQ. Okay, for that case, same thing. I called it. I think Dr. K would have won. And then for Jeremy and Palmer, and Rock Force, I think Rock Force. Same outcome, you know.
Cool, man. Yo, Pro, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Yes, sir.
Again, I just want to give a shout out to Pro. Dope stuff, man. Thank you for talking with me about all this stuff and all the info you put out, man. I need to. You have so much info on the trades from the epicenter. You know, all this content and digging that you've done, man. You know, that last Bay Area one. Make sure you guys check that out. He just put it out this week. It's at where is it at, Pro?
At my channel, PROFOWON. Profowon, just Profowon.
Shout out to Zen World. Pro, you getting yours coming in soon.
Yes, sir.
Think about this right here, but yeah, I've been
nano drops. Here, show that one more. I got to zoom on you, bro.
One more.
Boom. Boom. Yeah, you're.
Yes, Zen hat.
That's it. And remember, 15% off with the promo the promo code GEARHEADZ. 15% off. Those joints are about like 70 to 60 bucks. You know what I mean? So 15% off knocks out a lot of money off of it, and you know your benefit, healing.
Yo, Pro, and I also want to throw in there, man. Yeah, thank you to the gearheads that's been supporting so far, man. All the people that's been listening, watching, subscribing. Everybody has heard the same song and rhyme. Subscribe, hit the like button. Do that for us too, guys. That's how we grow.
Bell for notifications.
Yeah. Check out btrbreakin.com. That's me and my brother.
Yeah, not the IG.
Not the IG.
not .com.
IG, stay off for a little bit. I'll let you guys know when. It'll be hopefully.
Right. There you go. There you go.
Cover it.
So yeah, where can they find you, Jay, on IG?
High State Rocker, and then you can find out more about the breaking side, the biomechanics side, the training side of what I do and what I have uncovered, which is the science of breaking. You can find that at btrbreakin.com. That's one of the ways that I am trying to create multiple streams of income and
there you go.
Increase my ROI within this culture. It's
there you go.
And if, you know, it's not the main thing, but it is one of the ways that I think is going to add kind of what Gary Vee says, add more than I can take. The value of the science that we've broken down and codified, the dance. We have products. We have a patent pending training mat. That is.
There you go. Yeah.
Level. It's incredible, man.
100. I vouch for it. I stand by it.
To go along with it. But yeah, at least make sure you guys subscribe. Tell your grandma subscribe. I know Granny be on YouTube looking up knitting and looking up World War II.
Look up breakdance.
Breakdancing in the Prohibition era. All right.
Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram at PROFO_FLGZ. And again, you can find me on right here on YouTube, PROFOWON. Like, you know, like I have a lot of stuff from the past that, you know, still valid today if you want to get your game up. You know what I'm saying? And again, this has been episode 9, the True ROI of Breaking. And we are the Gearheads Breakcast, Gearheads hacking movement and culture. Peace! And see you later.